All right, so if you guys saw my video yesterday, I covered when the next patch for Helldivers 2 would be. My guess was this upcoming Tuesday, and today, Pilestedt and Nicholas did another teaser update for us, confirming that the patch will be this Tuesday, which is day 63 of the 60-day plan. So today we'll be taking a look at that because they mentioned new programmable ammo for the autocannon and the recoilless rifle, which may have some things to do with weapon customization, which is another topic we covered in yesterday's video. We've also got some more blurry patch notes, which we use ChatGPT to read for us. And then we'll be taking a look at some player survey complaints, which have to do with the fact that they're only available in Discord, because I also saw some comments on yesterday's video about that as well. So we'll talk about how the devs actually collect feedback, because it's definitely from more places than just Discord. And finally, a few other fun Reddit posts, a really fun and powerful loadout against both factions, and just some other great moments recently in Helldivers. So before we do that, we've always got to take a look at the video sponsor, which is Instant Gaming. Be sure to check out this website if you're looking to buy any video game recently. These guys get keys for these video games from the source directly from the developers or the Steam Marketplace. They've got high ratings on Trustpilot, and I use this website regularly, as well as a ton of people in my community already. So be sure to use my link in the description to see if they have the game you're looking for in stock. They keep games for all platforms. And there's another link in the description to enter for a free video game of your choice. They do that for my channel once a month, so be sure to look at that in the description down below. All right, so let's go ahead and just rewatch the teaser for Helldivers 2, because I have some speculation on what the reprogrammable ammo options could be for the autocannon and the recoilless.
We introduced flak to the autocannon.
Recoilless rifle has also received programmable ammo.
The Scorcher, and it actually has automatic fire.
One of the nicest changes here is to the Stalwart.
With your backpack function, you can recall and let out your drone, so you don't want to finish too fast.
No, and I know all about that.
All right, so there's some really cool things here. First thing being that the autocannon getting flak rounds, and they mentioned the recoilless is also receiving programmable ammo. Now, I'm guessing the recoilless isn't flak, but I am also guessing that the flak rounds on the autocannon will be programmable. Like, you know, when you hold your reload button in game, there may be an option to shoot the different ammo types. Now, I'm not 100% sure about this, if it's gonna be an option in game or if you have to choose this before you load in, but that's what it sounds like to me. So the first thing to answer is, what are flak rounds? And this person asked this question on Reddit. How does it work and why are they usually used against airborne targets? And another Redditor answered, it's hard to hit a fast moving target with a bullet, which is why normally you use shotguns with shot ammo with a lot of small pellets to hunt birds, basically making the bird fly through a rain of pellets, ensuring that at least one hits. And that flak is basically a cannon that launches a shell up in the air in the path of an airplane, and the shell explodes when it gets up there, sending pellets in all directions, hopefully hitting the airplane nearby, like in whatever graphic they shared. And someone else responded to this that AA guns are actually rather effective against soft ground targets too, like infantry. And now to me, this sounds a lot like the Airburst rocket launcher, and if we take a look in game, we can actually see that the Airburst rocket launcher trailer shows it being used against a group of Shriekers. But for anyone that has used the Airburst, we are normally firing this against ground troops, and it's not really the best for enemies like Shriekers or gunships. And another thing just to show you guys here, that if we look at the data mine stats for the Airburst rocket launcher, you can basically see that it is a large shrapnel launcher. So with real life flak rounds, they are proximity based, and given the in-game Airburst launcher, it can also be shrapnel based. So it sounds like the alternate firing mode will be very similar to the Airburst launcher. And before you lose your excitement, because you know, the Airburst does suck, keep in mind that the autocannon can fire 10 rounds with insane fire rate. If it sort of became a full auto eruptor kind of weapon, it would be insanely fun and powerful for mobbing. And it would be especially powerful if this programmable mode was chosen in-game with the reload option, being able to switch back and forth between the mobbing rounds and those higher single target armor-piercing rounds. So the next thing they mentioned is the recoilless rifle is also getting a programmable ammo type, They didn't mention flak for this one, so I can just imagine that it'll be a mobbing style shot since it already does insane anti-tank damage, and this is also awesome being able to switch between the two. Now they also mentioned the Scorcher is getting a full auto firing mode. Now we already have a confirmed buff for the Purifier that we covered yesterday, given that the Purifier isn't in the best spot right now, and I was using it on stream the other day, and here's a clip of that one. Please say it's purifying time. Yo, chat. It's purifying time. Someone paid me for that. So yeah, remember that I do stream on this YouTube channel. I don't stream on Twitch. Be sure to turn on notifications for when I go live. But yes, not only is the Purifier getting a buff, the Scorcher is too, which is really awesome because a lot of people have felt that the Scorcher and even the Plasma Punisher have fell off a bit recently. So look out for the other plasma weapons in the next buff. Now there's also a buff coming to the Stalwart, and they didn't mention what it was at all, just that it's one of the nicest changes. And what I'll say about that is the most common request for the Stalwart is to make it a primary. So that would be insane if they end up going with that one. And finally, the last thing they mention is the buddy backpacks being able to be recalled, probably using your backpack button, and that is amazing in case there's a patrol nearby and you just want to avoid them and stealth around them. Or maybe even saving some ammo from your Liberator Guard Dog, since it usually finishes too fast, just like Pilestet says, and he knows all about that one.
So basically, I'm hiding behind a rock. They blow their load all over me.
You don't want to finish too fast.
No, and I know all about that.
All right, so for this next one, we've got some more blurry patch notes, and shout out to MoaX03, who makes some awesome shorter Helldivers videos. He posted the video, What If Helldivers Was Made by Ubisoft, and it was hilarious. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. He plugged in the blurry patch notes to ChatGPT, and it spit out these prompts. Now, keep in mind, I also have to decipher these because I don't believe ChatGPT wrote these exactly correct. So the first thing first is fixes. Prioritize the top priority issues. Number 1, not enough enemies spawning to complete eradicate missions. True. Now it says some instances where an AI won't attack even if directly looking your way or in sight. Now, this one is weird to me because I've never experienced this issue. Let me know in the comments if you have noticed this. But one problem that enemies have is they are always attacking even if they aren't directly looking at you. And this causes bots to shoot through walls. Although that was mostly fixed, they still kind of shoot at the wall that you're right behind, and that's a little bit weird to me. It then says enemies tend to line up in a straight path, take the same cover locations, and ignore other areas. Now, this will be really cool to see the AI be a bit more advanced and kind of spread out a bit more, maybe take cover sometimes. And I've always said that the weapons should feel good, but the enemy AI and the amount of enemies should be more, and that's what should influence difficulty. So I do like this change. And then it says patrol spawning should now feel more logical and realistic for players who complete the mission without causing the map to collect samples. And this change seems really cool. It sounds like maybe the spawns will allow you to go search the map for samples more. And then there's a few crash fixes on here. And then there's a miscellaneous fix that says fixed a bug where vehicles with heavy armor would be immune to gas-based effects. And I can speak to this one directly because you can actually confuse Barrager tanks with gas, but Annihilator and Shredder tanks seemingly don't get confused by gas. So that'll be a pretty huge change in my opinion. And now we have the second set of blurry patch notes, which we couldn't get ChatGPT to transcribe for us. However, I can clearly see right here some numbers, and then it definitely says Guard Dog. Now, I can't read this first text at all right underneath Guard Dog, but underneath that, it looks to me like it says armor penetration increased from, and then I'm guessing it's 2 to 3. Now, these words aren't legible, but just based on other patch notes and the lengths of those words, it does look like the armor penetration will be increased on the Liberator Guard Dog. Now, the little section above that, I can clearly make out the word pack, and there's nothing else I can make out about this. However, what I will say is the length of the first word is longer and the length of the second word is shorter. So maybe it says ballistic shield pack, and then there's a list of changes underneath that, although I can't really make that one out. All right, so that's all I can really make out from the blurry patch notes, but there were also some complaints recently in the Discord about the surveys being inaccessible to the other players of the game who aren't in the main Discord. For example, this user added Baskinator, and they said, why is feedback restricted to the terminally online members of this Discord? You're gonna get very biased feedback. And I'll just flat out say, I actually agree with this sentiment because the main Discord can come across as very biased sometimes. But at the same time, I will flat out say it is simply not true that Discord is the only place they take feedback from. Baskinator responded to this and said that Reddit also gets the player surveys, but they also collect feedback in general from every platform. Now, the thing is, I can show that and I can prove that. Feedback is collected from other social media. For example, if we take a look at the 60-day plan post on Reddit, we can see that the most upvoted comment under this post was about making charger butts weaker. And a month later, when that first huge patch dropped, that exact change made it into the game. Another thing is, when I spent some time making a balance sheet for Arrowhead, someone had also shared that on Reddit, and when the big patch dropped, a lot of the suggested changes in there made it into the game as well. So what I'll say is when these player surveys come out and you don't get to answer them, it does feel bad. You know, I didn't get to fill out the last player survey either because I think I woke up like 5 hours after it dropped, but that is not the only place they are collecting feedback. And I'm hoping with this patch on Tuesday, we see some changes to our health and enemy damage, as well as rocket striders, because a lot of people have been complaining about that stuff, and that would just be more proof that they are listening to our feedback again, even if we didn't necessarily get to submit that in the Discord survey. Okay, so now let's take a look at this Reddit post that got shared 2 days ago, giving programmable ammo white phosphorus rounds onto the Airburst launcher. Now, this is a player-submitted idea. It just got shared 2 days ago. This isn't really in the next patch, but I wanted to bring this up because they only teased programmable ammo for the autocannon and the recoilless. We don't know what other weapons they might give this to, or heck, even primary weapons could get it. In yesterday's video, we talked a lot about weapon customization and progression, and this might just be the start of that. What I will say is the way they teased it, it doesn't sound like they're weapon upgrades. It sounds like they're just straight up adding those features to those weapons. So I wonder if they're kind of testing a little bit of weapon customization in this patch and see how we like it, and then possibly add more down the line. Heilstadt definitely hinted hard at bayonets, and I'm just curious to see what will be coming. And don't forget, this patch on Tuesday is going to be really big, but also Liberty Day is coming up. There is going to be a lot of different content this month. And at the very least, this is just strengthening the theory that weapon customization is coming sooner rather than later. I definitely want something to spend some more samples on. All right, and we've got another Reddit thread talking about the combination of the Commando and the EAT, using the expendable weapons in one loadout. Now, I've used this combo before, so I wanted to share my version of the expendables build with you guys for both bugs and bots. Now, the benefit of this build is that you are also expendable. If you die, no need to go hunting for your old support weapon, just call down another one. Another awesome thing to call down is the HMG emplacement, since it shreds tons of medium armored enemies, as well as chargers, hulks, gunships, rocket striders, alpha commanders, and even bile titans if you can kill it before it gets to you and spits on you. And for that final stratagem slot, we want something for mobbing since we have so much anti-tank, and something with a short cooldown. I picked gas. And this is not only amazing on bug breaches, but it's also a great tool for bots because it's great area denial. It can choke off one area and confuse those bots while you kill other enemies. And if you didn't know it, but if you land a gas call-in directly on a detector tower, it will take it out. Now, depending if you're fighting bots or bugs, switch up your armor and bring your favorite primary and secondaries for each faction. I'm not going to recommend anything there. You can use whatever you like. And next, we're going to go over the top comments from yesterday's video, but be sure to try out the disposables build and drop a like on the video if you have a good time with it. Also, be sure to share your builds in the comments below. I might feature them in the next upload. Yesterday's top comments are as follows. First one from Sora the Kobold. One of the main things I'm hoping for is they just look at a few more previously nerfed weapons that were missed last patch. The Slugger and Incense Breaker, but also the HMG shadow changes reverted. I also want heavy armor to feel nice. Also, hi Thick, hi. Well, first of all, hi Sora, I couldn't agree more. And I got a bonus screenshot of Pilestet saying he thinks the HMG still shreds, and I actually couldn't disagree more. What I will say is if they want the durable nerf to stay in game, then okay, but increase its mag size to at least 100, if not 125. One thing they should absolutely revert is the angled ricochet nerfs, because we showcased that in our previous ricochet video. Our next comment is from Adolfo, and he says, I will keep saying this wherever I can, but I think flinch resistance on heavier armors would be a very good indirect way of reducing ragdolls. Heavier armors could have a % chance of not being ragdolled since it's, you know, heavy armor, and a significantly higher chance of getting the stim animation off when being shot at, instead of being flinched out of the animation. I really hope Arrowhead does something of this nature with heavy armor and gives more utility to running it while indirectly potentially addressing the ragdoll and flinching complaints on the bot side. And this is also very true as well. I've seen this idea be spread around tons of times, and it would be a really great thing to do for heavy armor because you lose so much speed even against the bots. I more so often run medium armor, especially this patch with more damage being taken. I tried heavy padded armor, and some people like it. I do recommend wearing it if you do like it, but I noticed that it's really only good with the supply pack when I can constantly chug down stims. It doesn't feel tanky by itself. It kind of just stops you from getting one-shotted by a lot of the stuff that's annoying, but you still do get one-shotted by frickin' rocket striders or like ragdolled like crazy by command bunker turrets. So they should do something to heavy armor as well. All right, and finally, this last top comment from Declicatus. Not gonna lie, everyone is forgetting the shield emplacement. It lasts like 20 seconds naturally and barely lasts a few seconds when under fire. Nearly useless except for its short cooldown. And if this one gets buffed in the next patch, maybe we can add it onto our disposables build. It does have a really short cooldown, so it would be perfect for that setup, and it's actually a pretty great pairing with the HMG emplacement. So those were our top comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to drop a like on it, turn on notifications because I will be streaming shortly after I upload this, join the Discord, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.